Okay, I think we are good to go. What is good, everybody? It is the Godfather of VR, the ageless wonder, the man Lincoln Clay, coming back at you with a little bit of a vlog story journey. How's everybody doing, sim racing fans? So, as stated in the title of this stream, as well as me mentioning it yesterday, I wanted to talk about the money that I've spent on this setup and the journey here, as well as the rabbit hole that took me from only planning to make a lateral move as far as upgrading goes to going all in. So, as stated, it cost me about $3,700, like it said in the title, for all of this stuff. And it's been quite the journey. Way more money than I planned on spending. So I guess we can get right into it. So the items that you see that I have here, my sim rig, the GT Omega Prime, my wheelbase, the Fanatec Podium DD1. You might be able to see my Clubsport V3 pedals down here, the McLaren GT3 wheel. And over to the left of me is where it all started, the Thrustmaster T150, along with the, you can't see it, but along with the table that is still clamped to this table. I still use this wheelbase whenever I want to jump on GT Sport because it is the only wheelbase that I have that is licensed for PlayStation. So, but we'll come back to that. So I was trying to decide what I should talk about first, the journey here, or show you guys, the notes, the total cost of everything I made out, because I typed everything onto a notepad and want to show you guys the total cost of everything that I bought. So I think I'll do that first. I think I'll show you guys everything that I bought, and then talk about how I ended up going down this rabbit hole, how this thing ended up snowballing the way it did. So let me pull up the notebook sheet, and I will. There we go. I think I can oops. Bring it down like that. Make sure it's out of the way of the camera. So yeah, I'll do that and then slide this over here so I can still see chat. Okay, so over to your right, this is the notebook pad that I wrote down of my sim racing setup cost, and this is everything. I think every single thing that I bought relative to this setup is on here except for these gloves, which they were $15. I could add it to the cost, but it's not going to make or break anything. So see here, see if I can move this. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this cursor. So starting at the top, I bought the Csl Elite wheelbase. I've showed that to you guys before. So I've got 3 wheelbases. Podium DD1, again the Thrustmaster, and this Csl Elite wheelbase, which I think is still a wonderful wheelbase. Ray Tantrum, need a round wheel still? Need a round wheel still? That all depends on if I decide to do the rally games. Which the fact of the matter is, there was the Clubsport P1 wheel. I was gonna order that for Black Friday. It was on sale for $100, and that thing immediately sold out. I mean, people can say what they want about Fanatec, but when it comes to sim racing hardware, they're the king of the mountain. There's no way around it. So, I don't know. I'm not quite done yet. I still got one more thing that I want to buy that I'm probably going to order it today or tomorrow, and I'll show you guys after I get done. Breaking down this total cost. So again, this was the Csl wheelbase, Csl Elite wheelbase. For $360, which I thought was I thought it was overpriced. The person that I bought it from on eBay was a really cool dude. Ended up becoming friends with him on Discord, and he even popped in for casual driving too, car driving too. Yeah, I'll get another wheel eventually. So the guy that I bought the Elite wheelbase from probably shouldn't set that up there with the gloves up there. And put it up there like that. Now it looks kind of distracting, so I'll take that down. So the guy, he was a really cool guy. But it still doesn't take away from the fact that I thought that I felt like the Csl Elite wheelbase at the time that I bought it, I felt like it was only worth $300, maybe $275. Now, in the case of the seller, he had it posted on eBay once, I think with a minimum bid of $300. He took it down, probably, I'm guessing, maybe because he probably didn't get enough traffic. And then he reposted it. And when he reposted it with a buy now of $360. So I didn't want to get caught in the bidding war, so I bought it. As soon as he reposted it, I clicked buy now, and plus it was like another, I think it was like another $28 for shipping. Excuse me. And then through the United States Parcel Service, I had the package held at one of their locations, which, because it was being rerouted, they charged me another $22 for that. So the total cost of this Csl Elite wheelbase ended up being like $400 pretty much. Moving on. Then I also and drop my mouse. Get going, Lincoln. Next up was the Csl Elite Pedals. Now, I really like those pedals, but they ended up being a waste of money, because at the time that I bought these pedals, the CSL pedals and the Csl Elite pedals were the two cheapest pedals. But I figured with the Csl Elite pedals being $20 more for $100, they must be the better pedals. So I bought them. And I actually do like them better than the CSL pedals, but I went off and bought them, and then I did the research and learned that the load cell for the Csl Elite pedals had been discontinued. And that's a little bit of a head scratcher, that the load cell has been discontinued, but yet they still sell these pedals at the Fanatec website. So if you buy these pedals, you're either going to have to look for the load cell on eBay, or just come to the realization that you're not going to have a load cell. So I bought those, And then right after I realized that the load cell had been discontinued for the Csl Elite pedals, then I bought the Csl pedals for 80 bucks. Then I bought the, also listed here is the CSL DD table clamp, because when I first made the decision to upgrade, I ordered the CSL DD wheelbase, and at the time I had no intentions of buying a rig. I was fine with clamping it to a table, and so I bought the table clamp for 40 bucks, you know, $39 to be exact. But I rounded everything to the nearest dollar just to make it easier to add everything up. Then while I was waiting, and this was before I bought the CSL Elite. This was right after I ordered the CSL DD, but I hadn't bought the CSL Elite yet. So all this waiting and waiting and waiting, you know, because I had already had some other stuff here that I haven't mentioned yet. But it was suggested to me, hey, you could use your other pedals standalone, but you would need the adapter. And I was like, nah, I'll just wait. And then, nope, I changed my mind. I want to use the pedals now. So I bought the Clubsport adapter, $20. Bought this McLaren GT3 wheel that you see right here for $200. I think it's an excellent wheel. Couple of people, like one person in particular, tried to poke fun of me on Reddit about this wheel being $200. You know, I got a $1,200 wheelbase with a $200 wheel, and I'm like, hell, shit, you know, that's nothing to laugh at, because watch Dave Cam. He's got 55,000 subs. He has this exact Podium DD1 wheelbase, and for GT3 races, he uses this McLaren wheel. You know, he even responded to one of my comments before and said that he thinks the McLaren GT3 wheel is bang for the buck, and it is his everyday driver for GT3 races. And I absolutely love this wheel. And next up, speaking of which, yeah, well, I already mentioned the McLaren wheel. Next up is the metal quick release. And I needed this metal quick release in order to unlock the high torque mode on this wheelbase, because you need more than the torque key. There's two ways, you know, even with the torque key put in, there's still a couple of different ways that you can unlock the torque mode. One is to buy the metal quick release, which would be the smarter move. That was $100. Or you could take the plastic quick release that comes standard with a lot of the wheels and cut the stem off. That deactivates high torque mode. But if you do that, it's almost a certainty that eventually that plastic quick release will crack, you know, from all the torque. So next up on here is the Fanatec Podium DD1 wheelbase, and that was $1,200, and I ended up buying this, you know, which I'll end up regurgitating a lot of this when I tell the story of how this turned into a rabbit hole. But I bought this after I canceled the CSL DD wheelbase. And then next up is the GT Omega Prime sim rig. Now, I think I really saved some money with this. I paid $800, it was, to be exact, it was $819, along with the, you know, I'll mention that below, the GT Omega caster wheels. Those were $35. And first things first, the rig was on sale. It normally retails for $910. I got it on sale for $90 off at $819. And then I used Danny Lee's affiliate link. There's a ton of affiliate links out there, but at the time I had been in contact with him. He's a pretty cool guy. So I used his affiliate link to get 5% off, and it saved me like an extra $45. And then it was free shipping. So when you total up the $90 that I saved by the rig being on sale, the $45 that I saved from Danny Lee's affiliate link, you know, now we're up to $135. And then it was free shipping from Scotland. So I'd imagine I'd imagine at the very least it probably would have cost around $75 to ship it. So all that stuff combined, I saved $200, which I think was a huge saving. So so what we got here is total gross cost shipping, total gross cost of shipping before, let's try this again. Total gross cost before shipping and sales tax was $3,315. And then, let's see here. Bring that up again. And, okay, there we go. And so then here in Michigan, sales tax is 6%. So sales tax totaled up to $199. And then I'm figuring the shipping on all of this stuff, because I paid an unnecessary amount for shipping because I ordered a lot of this stuff separately. So shipping was on a lot of this stuff was on anywhere from $15 to $25. So that's just an estimate. I estimate that shipping on all of these items was anywhere between $150 and $200. So that brings it the grand total to $3,714. Damn near $4,000 for all this. I could have bought a car. And for those who follow me, my son turns 16 in May, and my plan was to buy him a car, but my brother is giving him a car. My brother works at a dealership, and the car is already sitting in his backyard, just waiting for my son's birthday to come around, and then he'll get the car. So, but that went off the tracks a little bit. But that's the point, though, that for the $3,700 that I spent on all this stuff, I could have bought a very nice used car. So yeah, that's part of where the rabbit hole comes in. So let's talk a couple of other things, because I'm not quite done yet. Okay, so I'm going to get some motorsport shoes, and this is one of the shoes that I'm considering. Here, let me see if I can slide this over. See how that looks to you guys. 1 second. Looks like it's good enough. You guys can see it. Or the other thing I could have done is just simply go to my stream. One second, folks. Or the other thing. Yep, that's a good look right there. These are the Red Bull Racing R-Cat Machina Motorsport shoes. As you can see, they normally retail for $90, and they're on sale for $69.99. I like these shoes, and I was going to order these shoes, but I saw a couple of other pair of shoes that I like. One of them, I like the color, and the other one, I would be buying it for the name brand. And so let's check those out. So we don't need that. And go back to the top here. Right here, these are the Speedcat LS men's motorsport shoes. Let me bring that up. I like the color of that shoe right there. So that's $90, and I really, really, really like the color of that shoe. But The shoes that I very well could end up going with, and this is more or less than me just paying for the name, and that would be right here, the Speed Cat Sparkle Men's sneakers. It says lower prices found, whatever that is. Let me get that out of the way. Well, you guys should be able to see that. So these shoes are, you can see the Sparkle logo on the tongue of the shoe, and these retail for $100. I really like these shoes too, but I wish they were in black and white like the other ones. So it's an extra $10 for the Sparkle. But I'm a person that always likes to wear dark color shoes because I can move around freely and don't worry about getting them dirty. I'm not a person, I don't really care for white shoes that much because you have to be super careful because you don't want to get them dirty. But let's see, hold on. So, oh shit, they don't got these shoes in a 9.5. Let's see if the 9s are available though. They're in stock, but it would be a crapshoot if I bought the 9s. It would be a crapshoot because 9s are a tight fit on me. 9.5s would be a comfortable fit. So I'm probably going to end up having to go with the black and white Speed Cats that I saw. Like, yeah, I really like those sparkles. Look like they got more women's shoes to choose from than men's. So this shoe right here is available in a 9.5. And they do have them in stock. So I'm probably going to end up having to go with those ones. And then I guess I'll just have to take a piece of paper and tape it onto the shoes and write Sparkle on it. So, I think the last thing, so before I talk about the rabbit hole, I'm going to do some ACC today, but I think what I'm going to end up doing is, I don't know, there's still those shoes right there too. Those are $70, but I guess looking at them, now that I stop and look at them, I'm starting to, I don't know, I'm starting to vibe with the Red Bull, shoes. Because for one thing, I like that high back end. But on the other hand, these Speed Cats, I like how the shoes are black. That's got that white Puma in the front. Let's see here, do they have these 9.5? They're in stock. Nah, I'm not too crazy about that. looks like you can get them off of eBay, but nah. Okay, but so I am going to do some ACC today because I want to practice for the low fuel motorsports. So what I'll probably end up doing is, once I get done talking about the final part of this journey, I'll end the stream and then I'll turn around and come right back and do some practice for the low fuel motorsports. So let me show you guys that. This is the low fuel motorsports website. This is the site where you register to participate in daily races organized on this site on a set of Corsa Competizione, because that was one of the things a lot of people complained about ACC, is that it didn't have any daily races. So this site organized them. I probably say the biggest catch is that their servers are located in Hamburg, Germany. So your ping will correspondingly be worse depending on how far you are out, because it says it on here. But in any case, I am not going to answer that. We have people around here that randomly knock on doors, and a lot of times, hold on. A lot of times what we have here is people who sort of live here, but they don't have keys because the person that they live with didn't give them a key. So they have to try to find their way in every time. And they just go ringing a bunch of buzzards until somebody finally lets them in. Me, if I don't know you're coming, I don't answer the door. It's that simple. So anyway, coming back to low fuel motorsports. So in order to compete in these daily races, you have to get a license. And in order to get a license, this is the page right here where you need to get a license. And currently, I don't have a valid license to participate in races. You must have a valid license. To get a license, you only have to do the following: launch ACC, search for low fuel in the server browser, blah, blah, blah. They've got 2 servers, one with a safety rating of 70 and one with a safety rating of 95. Depending on which one you pick, you will start with a safety rating by default. And for me, because I will be starting with a safety rating of 3.5. If you go into the 95 rating session and you pass and get the license there, then you will get a safety rating of 4.5. So it says if your Kunos safety ratings is 95, you should complete your license ride on the server, on the 95 server. If you pass, you will start with a safety rating of 4.5. If you are under a safety rating of 95 and do your license ride on the 70 server, you will start with a safety rating of 3.5 if you pass. However, this only applies to new registrations. Users who have already registered and who subsequently have to take the license test will receive a boost to the current safety rating of 1.0 on the high server rating server if they pass. So what you need to do is drive a hot stint of 7 valid laps in a row. The average time of these laps must be 107% faster than the current race lap record of the current licensed track. So which I dropped my mouse again. So the track record the track is Hungaroring. You have to go on that track and do 7 laps, and the record on here is 1 minute 42 seconds. I don't know if that's the record for 1 lap or if that's the record for average laps after 7 laps. But the record is 1 minute 42 seconds, and so it looks to me like your maximum target time of 107% is 149.256, which I assume means your average time must be 1.49, 0.256 or better in order to get a license. So, and this shows what you have to do in terms of what servers you have to look for and that kind of stuff. So what I plan to do is after this stream is over, I'm going to come right back and I'm going to go to Hungaroring and I'm going to try, I'm going to do some practice laps using 2 or 3 different cars because I think I'm getting ready to pull the plug on the Porsche. The Porsche that I use, even though I've set some personal records with that car, now that I have a more detailed wheelbase that can feed me the information, that car I feel is unstable. And it does have acceleration coming out of the apex. That is no question about that. As far as the brakes goes, I guess the brakes are okay, but I think the brakes are better on the Honda NSX that I used yesterday, as well as the BMW. But I think the underslide on that Porsche is horrendous. And if you put your foot down, it is easy to spin out coming out of the apex. It's very easy to spin out, oversteer and spin out. So even though the Honda NSX had moderate acceleration, there's a pretty good chance that that might end up being the car that I go with. So that will be one of the cars that I test when I go and put in some practice laps. So let's go ahead and talk about the journey here. So as you guys see right here, I started out with the, let me pull up the chat again. Slide it on over here. So, I've told this story in a short form. I've told this story, bits and pieces a few times. So I guess I'll tell it this, at least the whole story this, last time. And I started out with this Thrustmaster T150 that you guys are looking at. And to try to shorten it up a little bit, my good friend Ham, Kevy D, Salsa Ketchup, I was racing with those guys. And to be brutally honest, not a direct stab at Salsa in particular, but he was at the time that we all got together, he was the slowest out of all of us. Ham, we were kind of going back and forth. He would beat me, I would beat him. And then they got the Csl DD wheelbases. They started putting in practices. Salsa started practicing almost every morning before he went to work. And they started kicking my ass. And that's not to say that the wheelbases made them faster, but I did ask him, do you think the wheelbase makes you faster? And he said he doesn't think it makes him faster, but he's able to turn in more consistently higher laps because he's making less mistakes because of the details that he's getting from the wheelbase. So I have been using this Thrustmaster T150. I think I bought that wheelbase back in 2014 maybe. Whenever GT Sport came out, I think I bought that wheelbase. No, I actually had that wheelbase before GT Sport. I had that wheelbase I think when I was using it for Drive Club. So I think shortly after Drive Club came out might be when I bought it, gave it minimum use, started using it again. Anyway, let's jump forward. Sorry about that, folks. So when Ham and Salsa started kicking my ass, I started thinking, okay, maybe it's time for an upgrade. And I was going to get the Logitech G29, and then I was like, but that's kind of a side move. That's not really an upgrade. Then I thought about the Thrustmaster T300, and then spoke to Ham about it, and he reiterated talking about the Csl DD. What's up, Ham? How you doing, my guy? And he told me about the CSL DD. But yeah, Ham, this journey of me getting all this stuff, you played a good part, for better or for worse. Um, there were times where you were relentless in saying I should get this and I should get that. And I'm like, damn, dude, you know. And then it was other times where, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm really glad that Ham suggested that to me. But I'll come around to that. So anyway, Ham, Salsa started kicking my ass. I'm looking at the wheelbases. And then after I started getting deeper into it and started doing some research about the CSL DD and seeing what everybody was saying about it, the CSL DD seemed like the hottest thing since Sunburn as far as sim racing goes, because it was an affordable direct drive wheelbase, because what direct drive is pretty much where it's at. But before the CSL DD came along, as far as Fanatec goes, your only options were the DD1, which I have right here at $1,200, the DD2, which is $1,500, or the Formula DD bundle that's PlayStation compatible for $1,800. So anyway, I ordered the CSL DD. I ordered it September 12th. I was given a availability date of November 8th. About a week later or two, I got an email from Fanatec letting me know that it had been delayed until November 29th. Here it is. I'm still in September. I don't want to wait until the end of November to get my wheelbase. And then that's how I ended up getting the CSL Elite wheelbase. Long story short, you know, I already told you guys that. I bought that. And then, but when I ordered the CSL DD, I had already ordered the Fanatec wheel. I had already ordered the CSL Elite pedals. And then, and after I got the CSL Elite wheelbase off of eBay and I got it all hooked up, and realized that the load cell for the CSL Elite pedals had been discontinued, that's when I bought the CSL pedals. And again, that was another area where Ham urged me, because he was like, you know, you might want to think about getting the CSL pedals. They have Hall sensors, meaning there's no moving parts, and the load cell will be coming for those soon. And originally I was like, nah, you know, and then I did the research, found out there's a load cell for the CSL Elite had been discontinued. So yes, I go with the CSL pedals, which are right there in the corner. So I'm using that setup, and I've got my CSL Elite on the same table that I got this Thrustmaster on, and it was fine. And then I had a moment where I went into a wreck and the wheel went crazy and my table tried to tip over. That's when I realized I needed a rig, you know. And again, Ham right there, you know, he got a rig. I think it was the SimLab GT Evo GT1. And originally I was like, no, I don't need a rig. But after I had that incident where the Elite wheelbase nearly tipped over my coffee table, I was like, okay, yeah, I'll get a wheelbase. I'll get a rig. And then I looked into rigs. At first, I was going to go with the GT Omega Art. Did some research on that, seen videos, saw a flex on it. Then I saw the GT Omega Titan, which looked like a really solid wheelbase. It looked like it was solidly built, and I was going to go with that. Again, talked to Ham, sent them a link to it. He didn't even come back and say, hey, that's a decent wheelbase or anything like that. He said, go for the aluminum. I was like, God damn, Ham. And so I went back and did some research. Turns out that the GT Omega Titan has some flex to it. And so at that point, I decided that I didn't want to spend the extra $300, but I figured that if I'm going to go ahead and buy a rig, I might as well do it right, because I didn't want any regrets. And I looked around at other sim rigs, Track Racer. What else did I look at? SimLab, a couple others, Rig Metal. And I ended up going with the GT Omega Prime for reasons that I stated earlier. It was on sale, affiliate code, free shipping, all that good stuff. And so I went with the GT Omega Prime, and I think it's an absolutely great rig. I absolutely love it. So once I got the GT Omega Prime, this rig here, I started getting curious about the Podium DD1 wheelbase. I started getting curious. And I'm like, man, I wonder, you know, they talk about the thing being strong enough to snap your wrist off. And so I was thinking to myself, the $520 that I spent ordering the CSL DD, along with the $400 that I spent on the CSL Elite wheelbase, I was thinking to myself, for another $300, you could have got the DD1. Well, Thanksgiving, only 3 days before my DD was supposed to ship, I got a gift from Fanatec letting me know that it had been delayed until January 3rd. At that point, I said, okay, I'm pulling the trigger on the DD1 because it was available and ready to ship, and I was curious about it. So rather than get mad at Fanatec, even though I would have been within my right to get mad, I saw it as an opportunity. So I bought the DD1, and I absolutely love it. So he says, so what you're saying is I cost you money. You were persistent. That's for certain, but it was a good thing. It was a good thing because you know, you were persistent about me getting an aluminum profile rig, and I'm absolutely glad that I did it. So I think when I got the CSL pedals for the load cell, I don't think that was a bad move. But once Fanatec made the announcement that those were available, because they sent the load cell to all these YouTubers that tested them, and then when they finally take pre-orders, it's not coming out till February. So again, I didn't want to wait, and again, it was like another opportunity the way I saw it, because now that I got a legitimate rig in addition to the DD1, I'm also curious about these V3 pedals down here, 300. So again, it was a situation that, okay, the CSL pedals are $80, the load cell is $140. Now we're looking at $220. I'm thinking to myself, for extra $140, I could have got the V3 pedal. So that's what I did. I pulled the trigger on the V3 pedals, and here we are, $3,700 later. So it is it was not planned out that way. Going back to the beginning, I was fine with buying a CSL DD and using it on the coffee table and still sitting in a lawn chair. I was okay with that. But once I had that incident where my CSL Elite wheelbase nearly tipped over my table, I was thinking that if a 6 Newton meter wheelbase can do that, then an 8 Newton meter wheelbase will most certainly do that, and that's what made me decide to pull the trigger on a rig. So, but I think in closing, I will say that I don't care how good this equipment is. If it weren't for this, I'd buy none of it. There's you know, I've said this before ad nauseum on numerous occasions that VR has made a lot of my dreams come true. And as a kid, I've always been fascinated with cars. I've had, as a kid, I've gotten slot racing tracks, radio controlled cars, been playing video games as far as I can remember. I think the first racing video game that I played was a device called Digital Derby that I think came out in 1976, and I played that thing for hours and hours and hours. And then I think the first racing game that I played on console was a game called Enduro, made by Activision on the Atari 2600, and I've just been playing Sims ever since then. But you know, you fast forward to the last generation of the PS4, even though I bought that Thrustmaster, I had my moments where I was playing it, and then I got away from it. And once I got a taste of Drive Club in VR, the first thing I thought was, this is incredible. Is the first time I went 200 miles an hour inside a car, even if it was in VR. And what I was thinking to myself was, if this wasn't so blurry, you know, I was like, that's the only problem I have with it, is that it was blurry. So much to the point where night races were impossible. That's how blurry it was. Then GT Sport comes out. It's not much better. It's not much better, but it does look better. Problem is, all you get is time trials, 1v1 versus the AI, and the AI drives like a first grader. DJ, the Pumpkin Patch Kid, what is up, my guy? VR does have the power to let you be a kid again. You are absolutely right about that. And so, when I bought my PC and got an Oculus Rift CV1 headset, I think the first racing game that I played that had VR support was Project Cars 2. And to be able to sit, in my opinion, to be able to sit inside that Ford GT in VR and go down one of my favorite tracks, Circuit de la Sarthe, it was mind blowing. And as you guys have probably noticed, I haven't been doing that much other VR stuff lately, because I've been focusing on sim racing. But I can unequivocally tell you that if it wasn't for the VR part of this, I would not have spent all this money on this equipment, and I would not be putting in the time that I have in sim racing. Is I think flight games, racing games, I think playing these titles in VR is the ultimate experience. So, so thanks for letting me share my story, everybody. Again, it was a journey, and it was a rabbit hole, and maybe this is the honeymoon stage, but every day when I'm at work, I absolutely cannot wait to get home and jump in this rig and do a few laps. So I think that's going to go ahead and do it for me. I'm going to go ahead and shut this stream down, get everything set up, and then I'm going to come right back and play a set of Corsa Competizione so I can get some practice to get my low fuel motorsports license, and then hopefully go for the license tomorrow, and then start getting some daily races in this weekend or early next week. So again, everybody, thanks for listening. Let me share my story. Thanks, Ham, for being a part of this journey, as well as JD Max whenever he comes around to catching this stream. Thanks to him too. And I'll see you guys in a little bit. You guys know the line. Wakanda forever. Long live the king. And deuces. We'll see you in a few minutes. Ham, you said nice. Happy you are loving the sim racing and the new setup. Absolutely. One last thing I will say before I go. I have been a little bit reluctant to say this because I didn't want anybody to get the wrong idea about what I'm going to say. Is I've got the force feedback on this wheelbase cranked up to 70%. And that is basically the equivalent of 14 Newton meters that I'm running. And it is a workout. And I mean, this thing will shake the shit out of you. So much to the point that depending on what track I'm racing on, the entire rig will vibrate like a PlayStation controller. And I actually like that. I think it adds a little bit of immersion. And you guys see it in the stream. You guys will see that when I'm going around corners, the screen shakes a little bit, and that is from the force. That is just from the incredible force feedback. So, so I absolutely love that part of it too. So now I can go ahead and say that I'm out of here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys shortly when I get set up for the next stream. Maybe about a half an hour, if not sooner. But whenever that is. We'll see you shortly. Thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate it.